Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. Hey beer geeks and self-isolators, welcome back to Friday 5pm. You're probably not travelling anywhere, but you're almost certainly cracking a beer. I think if there's one thing we know about isolation, it has meant that people are drinking more at home.
Oh yes. I haven't actually started today because I've got a little bit of a cold, but have you cracked one yet?
Oh yeah, I'm well on my way.
Nice.
I've been, I put in lots of orders for our online show that we did on Wednesday, our live pub quiz, and so I'm still drinking through the remnants of that because what I thought was going to be a relaxed 2 hours running a pub quiz and drinking some delicious beer turned into one of the more stressful 2 hours I've had in my life.
It was a shambles, wasn't it? It was enjoyable, but obviously incredibly stressful that the technology was kind of flaky, shall we say.
Yeah. I think we overestimated our ability to use broadcast equipment. And so in our desperate bid to make sure nothing went wrong, we did in fact just create many issues for ourselves.
Hey, it wouldn't be the craft beer channel if we didn't do that, I think.
If it went to plan.
Give the people what they want, you know? They want a bit of chaos, right?
Although I think that they'd bitten off more than they could chew when they got to the music round.
We did lose 65 viewers in about 10 seconds as soon as I started doing a Vickery's Club style. I mean, I am terrible, so it's fair enough, but, you know.
Do you know, though, we still got a warning from YouTube for using copyrighted content that wasn't ours. So clearly our impressions were good enough for YouTube to take exception.
Do you think that
so
was
screw you guys mocking us?
It's crazy. Do you think that was a Survivor clip that we played?
It was probably that actually, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
But, yeah. So we can't put any advertising on that video, but I don't think I don't think we'll miss that $1. Those aren't the dollars I'm most worried about.
Exactly.
So we did have a lot of fun on Wednesday. It could have gone a little bit better, and we're looking for solutions. If you guys have any input on the best way to do split screens while broadcasting onto YouTube, please do drop us a message. Our email is craftbeerboys@gmail.com, or just find us on social. But I think it was a lot of fun, and we got a lot of lovely messages at the end from people who have been, completely self-isolated.
Yeah, I think it was a great way to kind of bring the community together in our own little way. Obviously, we're just little guys, but anything where we can reach out from our isolation to other people, I think it's really important these days. You know, we've all got to try and do that in whatever meaning, whatever way we can. So
yeah. So we were delighted to see that lots of couples were doing it. Lots of people were phoning up their friends and watching it together and stuff like that. So it wasn't just about watching us do it and chatting in the comments. There were people. It was bringing people together while we were online as well. So that was really heartening to see. So we are going to do it again in a couple of weeks. We won't commit to what week because we don't know when we'll have fixed our technical crisis.
I'd be interested to get. Oh, without a doubt, we'll do it again. I'd be interested to get some more ideas for rounds that we should do as well. Like if anyone's got any great ideas. I wish I had a Rubik's Cube because I think that would be fun to hold a Rubik's Cube up to the screen and ask people which layer and which way they wanted me to turn it.
That sounds to me like a new version of slow TV.
Yeah, right? I think it'd be great. It
That
might
could
not be
it
a
could
pub
also last
quiz
all night.
format, but if it was someone more attractive than me and you doing it, maybe that's compulsive viewing. Maybe if Joe Wicks was doing that, solving a Rubik's cube rather than doing squat thrusts, he might
Get
still
even
have a
more views.
nation captivated.
Or we could get Heather to do it. She was very popular on Wednesday. She got more plaudits than us,
She was, but to be honest,
and she's definitely more beautiful than us.
without a doubt, she was a bit of a hero that night. She kind of kept it going when the system crashed, and wow, it was great to
She
see
did.
so many
Her
people come.
frantic waving was
Yeah,
helpful.
it was great. It was great. She smashed it.
Yeah. So let's move along to what we have planned. We've got some cool videos coming. We're going to explain what we're going to be doing in those cool videos for the next few weeks in isolation later. But we thought we'd do a podcast that was purely positive. So we've called it Reasons to be Cheerful, and we have gone out and found lots and lots of reasons to be cheerful, with a slightly dark edge, and that we're looking for the silver linings of the COVID-19 crisis. And there seem to be a hell of a lot of them.
They do, don't they? I mean, this is the thing with great tragedies. Often you have sort of like you say, a little glimmer of hope or a sort of side effect of less humans maybe moving around that helps certain areas of society and the planet, which we'll get into right now. But
Yeah.
you've always got to try and. I mean, like we're all going through bad times, but we've got to try and stay positive.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest positive, talking of moving around, is the fact that pollution has absolutely plummeted.
Yeah.
Both in terms of like the really short term stuff, like air pollution. I was looking at a graphic, and air pollution in London's dropped. Compared to January, it's dropped, I don't know, by like 4 or 5%, which isn't much, but significant. But I saw on the graph in Newcastle, it's gone from being like not a lot less than London to like not even really having a line on the graph.
Wow.
So I don't know what's been shut down in Newcastle as a result, but they are loving life right now.
Yeah.
In terms of
being able to breathe.
I was about to say breathing difficulties.
Yeah.
The healthy people can now breathe much, much more clearly.
Oh yeah.
But generally around the world, I think emissions are down 50%. I read.
Yes.
Which means, it's the equivalent of taking hundreds of thousands of cars off the road. So it's wonderful news from a pollution perspective, and hopefully people are learning. Maybe they don't need to drive to this location or something to do the work, or they might not need to go fly somewhere when they can just do it perfectly well over Zoom, which is probably the company benefiting most from this crisis.
Yeah, man, it's great. I mean, I'm sure you might have seen videos of the Venice canals, and you can actually see to the bottom of them, and the kind of water's cleared up. I think, obviously, short term, when we're all allowed to go outside again, and take in the splendor of the world, we might have a new found respect for Mother Earth, and not totally shitting all over it. So, hopefully this might cause some massive change in society. I doubt it, but I mean, it's his reasons to be cheerful, Johnny. So
exactly, yes. It could well happen, and I hope it does. Other reasons to be cheerful is the fact that all the good humans have kind of gone into overdrive.
Yes.
Which has been incredible to see. In the UK, we're obviously very proud of our NHS, even though people keep bloody voting to give it less money. However, we have been rightly celebrating the work of NHS doctors, and lots of breweries have been showing their support by adding like donation buttons to their web stores. So everybody's buying beer online now, and breweries like Cloudwater and you said Brewgooder, Brad, was it?
Yeah, Brewgooder are doing a thing. You can buy an NHS worker a pint, so you make a donation, then it gets delivered to them. It's just great, man. I mean, we should all be doing this sort of stuff if we've got the money and the ability to do it, because it is a national treasure. And despite, not to get too political, but what the Tories have been trying to strip it down, I think, again, in post this, we're going to realise that the real heroes of society are not your footballers and your sort of pop stars. They are your NHS workers, your delivery drivers, your people that are stacking the shelves in the supermarket. All these people are heroes, and they're keeping the country going. lorry
Yeah,
drivers.
absolutely.
You know,
So these are the people that have been signified as key workers.
Yeah.
Whereas, bankers, beer journalists, we're not on that list for some reason.
No. I don't know, man. I think we're key to a certain demographic, hopefully. But
small niche. We're vital to.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You say that footballers aren't heroes, but
yes, go on.
another thing I have on our list of reasons to be cheerful is Leyton Orient Football Club, who I think have had financial difficulties themselves of late. Since there's no football happening anymore in the UK, or should I say soccer, they have organised a 128-team football tournament using FIFA the computer game.
Amazing.
Or should I say console game? God, I sounded old then. So now you can watch your favourite football teams and the players from those football teams competing in a virtual game of football, during which you're asked to make donations to various charities supporting the effort to minimise the damage and deaths from COVID-19.
That's amazing.
A little kicker of hilarity for the end, though, in that Leyton Orient, the organisers, went out in the absolute first round.
Oh dear.
So they don't get to enjoy that game too much. But
So
what
nothing much
is
different
amazing.
from real life soccer then.
But I never thought I'd live to see the day that Bradley Evans would be making a football joke.
Do you know
in our content?
Yeah, exactly. I know bug all
Truly,
about
we are in a new brave world.
There's been so I was a bit mean saying footballers aren't heroes, but there have been some heroes. The Spanish dude who is he Spanish or Portuguese?
I don't know which dude you're talking about.
The one he plays for Barcelona, he's donated a shitload of money to
Lionel Messi.
No, he's Ronaldo.
Do you mean Real Madrid and Ronaldo?
Yeah, Ronaldo.
Right.
Donated millions to help the Spanish infrastructure, and also
I think that might be to deflect the tax avoidance and the rape case he's currently dealing with. But
God.
Okay, where
this is where I don't know anything about football, so I don't know about rape cases and shit. Oh God, so he's not such a hero then. Blimey. What about the guys up in Manchester that have their two?
Yeah, I was going to say Gary Neville's given his hotel over to I think either the homeless or the NHS. I forget which, because people are doing so many good things.
Yeah. I think it's NHS. That's a nice thing to do. That's a very nice thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's not talking about Liverpool supporters or players, I think he is quite a nice man.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Well,
footballers have been doing good things, but with the immense wealth that they have, they bloody should be.
Exactly.
Is how that works. Talking people not using their immense wealth to help the poor.
Yes.
It's been great to see Tim Martin, founder of Wetherspoons, get his fucking comeuppance.
Yes.
So he was refusing to pay staff until the government grants came through that guaranteed their wages up to 80%, which meant lots of people who have been working for like a week since their last paycheck weren't going to get their money for like a month. And Tim Martin said he wasn't going to pay them. And then over 90 MPs wrote to him and said, yes, you are. Yeah, otherwise, you're being summoned to Parliament. And so he ended up paying them.
Great.
And looked super embarrassed.
This is what we need, man. A little bit of social justice.
Absolutely. And maybe that will be another big change in that things like that will be shot down much, much quicker.
Yeah.
Because we're understanding what happens when things do get tough. And I think I saw a wonderful tweet from somebody going like, I reckon the universal credit system, which is an absolute joke over here in the UK, is going to get revamped as soon as lots of middle class people who have lost their jobs have to start using it.
I hope that as we move forward as a society, we might start to look at universal basic income as I've been sort of championing this for a few years. It makes a lot of sense to me. With a lot of people's jobs being taken away by the machine age and all this kind of stuff, we're gonna have to reevaluate how people's time is valued. Like there aren't going to be as many jobs in the future, but I think if we can become a more caring society where people can survive without having a full-time job, maybe they're helping in social care or at charities and things like that. and then they're being supported by universal basic income. I think that, that is a way we might need to just look forward into the future a bit and kind of make things a little bit fairer. But anyway,
let's hope so.
Let's hope so, eh? I mean, we're certainly kind of a bit screwed because we're both self-employed, and this whole mess is kind of a bit of a downer for us. But I'm just being thankful that I'm sort of all right, and I'm not going to be out on the street.
Yeah, we're still one of the lucky ones. So
exactly.
If you guys can give to the NHS to say thank you, or can give to charities. It's a tough time to be homeless. It really is, because you're near people constantly. You haven't got a roof over your head. So any charity work you can do is amazing. So that's kind of the. There's only one more reason to be cheerful that I've got, and that's that Harvey Weinstein has coronavirus.
Oh.
And now we're going to talk about what we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. So we were racking our brains about how we can produce content without leaving our homes. We only had one video in the bank, which is our brew day with our Patreon supporter, Glenn Afric, and our non-pastry stout. We'll save the details for that, but you can go to our social and see that brew day. But that video will be coming out in a couple of weeks once that beer is ready. We were going to have a launch. Obviously, we're not now, but we might in future be able to have a tap takeover or something. But the idea we came up with is I've got in my beer stash about 150 bottles. I'd say about half of them are the kind of beer that you reach for. You're like, oh, I fancy that. And then you go, oh, no, but I need to save it for a special occasion.
Exactly.
And I think that coronavirus counts as a special occasion.
I think if anything was considered a special occasion or an act of God or a message, then coronavirus might be it.
Might just be it.
Exactly.
So what we're suggesting is that now, more than ever, is the time to crack those incredibly exciting, maybe slightly expensive, well-aged vintage beers that you've never had an excuse to crack. Now is the time.
Yes.
And that's what we're going to be doing on the channel for the next couple of weeks. So we'll be doing mini beer review / sofa sessions with some ultra rare beer from my beer stash. Brad, obviously, miles away, is not going to be able to drink.
I'm going to be salivating at your legendary beer stash and looking at my slightly more meagre beer stash.
Maybe you'll finally crack that 8% Dipper by Cloudwater that's about 4 years old.
Oh yeah, the V3.
At best, barley wine at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we got a hashtag we're going to put out with this. Hashtag beer stash. So we'd love to see what you guys are cracking into. Yeah, man, I think this is a time to reflect. It's a time to just take a moment and consider.
And a time to get absolutely fucked up on strong vintage beer.
That's it. Exactly.
Responsibly.
Responsibly-ish.
Ish. Yeah, so go when you decide to crack that beer, and we're saying you do it, possibly even now, tweet about it or Instagram about it or Facebook about it. You can go to our Facebook page to put it there, but use the hashtag beerstash. And then next week when we do this podcast and in the videos, we'll be doing shout-outs. If you want to send us an audio beer review, a video beer review on your phone, send it to us. I promise we will either play it on the podcast or in the video if it's really good. Keep it quite short, like 30 seconds. That would be awesome. Yeah. And let us know how you're celebrating self-isolation and the fact that you can crack these beers and not feel like you should share them. I mean, that's why I'm cracking them now, so Brad doesn't get half. And we'd love to have a little bit more of a crowdsourced approach to our content coming so that we can keep different voices, different faces coming in and give shout-outs perhaps to breweries and parts of the world making amazing beer that we don't usually get to do.
Yeah, man. I think, hashtags are pretty important right now. So obviously we've got hashtag beer stash, hashtag craft beer channel, hashtag digital pub club. If you want to talk to us or send us any ideas about that. Any other hashtags you want to put out there, Johnny?
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I was championing, so we had a long conversation before we went live on the podcast of what hashtag to use. I wanted to use hashtag I only went and opened it.
Which I loved.
It's as unwieldy as it is entertaining.
Yes.
So yeah, we didn't go for that one. But if you want to shove that one in, do. But Beer Stash is the one we'll be using to harvest your wonderful tweets, Facebooks, and Instagrams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's everything from us this week. We will try to keep these going, even though we're not going to be in the same place at any point, both the videos and the podcast. So do join us every Wednesday at 4 p.m. and every Friday at 5 p.m. For our usual content. And do send us any content you want to get on there. Otherwise, stay safe, stay isolated, and keep washing those hands.
We love you guys. Be kind to each other.